How's it going, everyone? This is Dan at Colossal Vids and welcome to episode 8 of season 2 of the Sunday Stroll. Now this week's question is, what game have you spent the most amount of money on? I'll pass you over to the other guys now so they can show you or tell you their answers, enjoy what they say and get involved.
I don't spend much on video games. Even when I'm collecting, I don't really spend too much on them. And that's one of the reasons I've stopped collecting, really, is because games are just way too expensive these days, especially retro ones. When you can download ROMs and that sort of thing, I don't really understand why people spend so much on them. But anyway, we're going sidetrack. My first one is Fallout 4, the Pip-Boy edition, which cost me, I think it's about £120, something like that. But it did come with the attachment Pip-Boy, which goes on your arm, so it's like a collector's edition. And it was a birthday present, so was it worth it? I don't know. I've used it quite a few times, done a bit of cosplay with Fallout, so probably got my money's worth out of it. But I don't think I'd spend that much money on a special edition again. They sort of, it's really cool when you open them, they look really great, but then they just sit on your shelf like a lot of the games you spend lots of money on.
So, being a bit of a tight ass and a bit of a shrewd fella, I kind of stay away from overinflated prices and sort of pay for what they're worth as such sort of games and whatnot. So the only one I can really think of that I stupidly overpaid for this was back in the PlayStation 1 game, back in the PlayStation 1 game, fucking said it again, back in the PlayStation 1 era, when I'm a massive football fan and a massive Football Manager fan, and to hear that Premier Manager was coming out on the PlayStation 1 was music to my ears, because I had played this on the PlayStation 4, on the PC, I'm getting my words wrong, on the PC so many times, and to have it on a console that I had was really exciting for me. So I ordered it through a catalogue, one of these free months catalogues that we get over in the UK, and you pay sort of like £2 a month over like 30 months or whatever, or however many, sort of like a year or whatever. So I ordered it through there, and it didn't arrive on release date. And so when I was in town, obviously kind of wanting my football fix, I saw it for sale, 50 quid, 49.99 I think it was when it came out. So I bought it, and so overpaying 50 quid for Premier Manager now, which is a game you can get for like 10p or whatever. That's probably overpaying in itself, but when the catalogue one did come up, I kept that as well, so paid almost 100 quid for Premier Manager on the PlayStation 1. That's overpaying.
Now, as I'm sure some of you are aware, I was a full set collector. That's right, I went after the full PAL Sega Saturn set. So yeah, when you're a full set collector, you're either in it for the long run or you're not, really. And if you are in it for the long run, you're eventually going to come across a game which is stupidly expensive, and it might not even be a great game, so you're going to be spending a lot of money for potentially a really crappy game, which I have done on many occasions whilst collecting that set. But yeah, I've bought a lot of games around the £40–50 mark, which isn't too bad when you think about it, because like the latest release game on the newest system will probably cost you around about that, and games back in the day would have cost you that as well, wouldn't they? So, do you know what I mean? That's not too bad. But yeah, I've never gone into the thousands. I've never been that crazy when it's come to like buying retro video games or like that. And yeah, and I don't really go for big box kind of collector's sets or like that again, so I'm not really spending a lot of money on those as well, because I find a lot of those to be really overpriced for the stuff that you get in them. But yeah, like I said, because I went for the full set, I did have to spend a lot of money on it, and I think the most amount of money I spent on one video game was about £180. I know a few of you will probably be like, "Shucks, that's crazy money," but in comparison to what some people spend on it, and in comparison to what those games are probably worth now, it's nothing, believe me. So yeah, I mean, it did make my heart kind of go, really? Do I really want to spend this much money on these games? But like I say, you're either in it for the long run or you're not, do you know what I mean? So those 2 games anyway that I spent £180 on, I can't remember which one it was, but it's one of 2 games, and it will either be Courier Crisis or Deep Fear. So yeah, if you're a PAL Saturn collector, you already know how much those games go for. Like I said, they're probably worth a little bit more than that now as well. Probably a lot more, who knows? But yeah, it was coming to the end of the collection. I think I only needed like 4 or 5 games to complete the set, so I just kind of like threw caution to the wind and just grabbed them while I could, basically, because I know these kind of games go up in price all the time. So yeah, I just went for it. And yeah, that's basically the most amount of money I've spent on video games, is about £180 on a single video game. Ouch.
This was really hard for me because I kind of haven't, if I'm honest. I'm guessing the question's asking, like, you know, you can get a lot of games that have become very collectible now from older systems that you're looking at sometimes a couple of £100 for one game, if not more. Like some of the Sega Saturn games, the rare ones that I know through seeing Shock 16 collect the full UK PAL collection. Some of them go for crazy amounts of money, which I couldn't justify spending myself. But fair enough if you want to do that. But I've never done that, and I've only ever really bought games either cheap or I bought them on release day, but they're about 50 quid, which I suppose, you know, is a fair amount, but it's not massive amounts. So I really struggled. But what I did come up with for an answer, and the only one I can think of where I've spent just over 60 quid just for a game, which is quite a bit of money, is the Kickstarter for Shenmue 3. I spent, I think, just over 60 quid so that I could have my name in the credits, my name on their website, and a copy of the game early, but also as a hard copy. So not necessarily digital, it is on Steam for PC, but it's an exclusive Kickstarter hard copy case. So yeah, I managed to get that as well. But that cost, yeah, just a little over 60 quid, I think, if I remember rightly. So I think that's the most amount I've actually gone to. So not massive amounts, but it's the most I've ever spent. So yeah, Shenmue 3 via their Kickstarter campaign. So that's my answer. Thank you very much for listening, and let us know what your games are that you spent the most amount of money on, how much it was, what the games were. Please do get involved, whether it's through video responses or comments underneath the video. And you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/strollonsunday. And other than that, see you very soon for the next episode. Have a good one.